All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes. This is a team right now, one of the best teams in all of college football, one of the best quarterbacks in college football, in Cam Ward. And that is not the only thing they're doing well. They're fending off multiple SEC teams in the recruiting game, and potentially there is a massive move in store if they can impress one specific player this weekend. I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, the Miami Hurricanes recruiting game potentially going to beat out a couple of really high-powered SEC teams if they can press one of the best players in the 2026 class this weekend. Let's get into the article and we can talk more about it on the other side. This is from over on Essentially Sports. It says, is 8 straight wins enough to get the nation's #1 overall prospect in their team? Cantwell, talking about Jackson Cantwell, has recently visited football programs like Georgia, Missouri, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss. Considering he visits Miami this weekend, this is going to be a huge opportunity for them to host him in their recruitment efforts. While Mario Cristobal aims to demonstrate their commitment to developing top talent, the program is positioning itself as a serious contender against 4 SEC teams. He said their success this year and historically a successful culture is exciting. That was from Jackson Cantwell. He said before visiting the University of Miami this week. The Miami Hurricanes are ruling college football this year. Whatever may be Cantwell's impression of the SEC teams, this weekend is Miami's chance to showcase the strength of the program. It helps that their performance have kept them among the top programs in the nation. So, to make a long story short, Cantwell is really looking at Miami. He's impressed with what they've done this season. He's impressed with the historically great culture of the program. Impressed enough that I think potentially they can beat out some top tier SEC teams to come grab him. This weekend is make or break for them. Nick, I'm curious what your thoughts are about this one. But before we get to you, Nick, Hurricanes fans, in the comment section below, let us know. What do you think the final score of the game this weekend is going to be? Is it going to be impressive enough? Is Cantwell going to flip and say, hey, let's go to Miami. I want to be a Hurricane for life. Let us know, though, in the comment section below what you think the final score of this week's game is going to be. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about the potential possibility to get such a great recruit?
I think they're going to do it, right? I mean, I know the prediction markets in terms of what On3 and 24/7 are saying don't have it likely. I think Cantwell, they say, is going to Missouri or Nebraska or Alabama or Georgia is what the favorites say right now. But I'm done doubting Mario Cristobal's recruiting chops. I'm done doubting his staff's ability to recruit. Frankly, I'm done doubting this Miami Hurricanes football team because so far this season, every opportunity they've had to disappoint, and there's been plenty of opportunities where they've trailed in games, defense has collapsed, maybe an opportunity to lose a game they should win, things like that we've seen in the past haven't occurred. This has become a Hurricanes program that takes advantage of opportunities, and I think they're going to do it this Saturday with a big-time performance in front of Cantwell. And look, I think he's going to commit to Miami. I think he's going to come to the Hurricanes when it's all said and done because this is the energy right now we're feeling behind Miami. And once you get the energy and momentum behind a program, it's hard to stop, especially when you consider, in my opinion, there are only 2 programs in the entire country whose history and mystique is beyond even just normal football. And that's Notre Dame, because of all the Rudy and the Newt Rockne and all that kind of stuff. Win one for the Gipper, right? All that kind of stuff. And the U in Miami, right? Those are the 2 programs, the Catholics, old school Catholics versus convicts thing. There's a reason that was a big deal because those are the 2 programs, in my opinion, whose brand transcend football. They're essentially cultural icons. That doesn't mean they're the best program, the most winningest programs, but when you think Notre Dame football, you think Miami Hurricanes football, it transcends just the inner confines of the sport. It's a cultural thing. It's like the Dallas Cowboys, New York Yankees, Los Angeles Lakers, right? Real Madrid, right? It's one of those things that people who don't know football, don't watch football, know Miami Hurricanes play college football, and they know that they've been historically pretty good. And when you have that history, when you have that culture, and now you have real world energy and momentum in the recruiting game, and more importantly, on Saturdays, that's a lot of juice, right? That's a lot of pop. And that gets going. You get the flywheel rolling, compounding effects happen, and suddenly you get all of the top recruits coming to town. And before long, you get an early 2000s Miami Hurricane squad coming down the pipe. We're not there yet. I'm not saying they are. But It is getting closer and closer than people think, folks. This is a Miami team that is obviously undefeated. They're playing great offense. They're recruiting great. They've done it the past couple years. Cantwell, other recruits, 5 stars around the entire country will see this. Where else do you want to go? You want to go to play for Alabama? They look like they're up and down. How about USC? They're 500 in the Big Ten. No thanks. Ohio State, Ryan Day can't win a big game. Texas is cool, but Texas has been back for about 2 seconds, right? It's sort of, hey, you want to go to Austin or do you want to go to Miami, right? It's one of those debates. How about Georgia? Yeah, they're going to win some. SEC is brutally tough, though. You don't know how it's going to shake out. Miami right now, that's the fun place. That's the energy. That's the momentum. And once you get that behind your program, especially when you pair it with the cultural impact, it's really hard to stop that. I'm looking for Cristobal to pull off this awesome recruiting move and build more momentum for the future.
Yeah, Nick, and this kind of reminds me of something that happened last year, except completely the opposite situation of what it was last year, because Miami this year versus last year, two very different teams. Last year, Miami was kind of up and down play wise. They struggled a little bit, and we see them recruiting near the end of last year. Think mid December of last year. Who was really good right about that time? Like I said, all teams in this situation are completely opposite as they were last year. Florida State, undefeated, really great team last year about this time of year. Everyone's saying this team, college football playoff contender. This is one of the teams to beat in college football this time last year. What does Miami do? They go in, they flip big time 5-star D-line recruit Armando Blunt from Florida State. They're able to get him. Miami, not the Titan they were now last year, but they were able to still make this move. So I think if Miami was able to do that last year against one of the best top teams in the country, it just shows you what Coach Cristobal is able to do in his recruiting prowess. This year, though, Miami is the team to beat. These SEC teams, I don't care. Name any single one of them. None of them are really as, historically good as Miami is this season. I think they are at the top of their game, and getting this recruit, almost like you said, it seems like it's a certainty. It seems like it's going to happen because they were able to pull off a move like that last year with the poor performance, I'd say, comparatively to this year they put on. Miami, I think for sure, is able to get a guy like this in the position they're in now.
Yeah, just one final point to end on, and I think this is what you kind of alluded to there a little bit. If you throw out the scores, if you throw out the performances on the field and just ask the recruit, just blind, hey, would you rather play for an undefeated top 5 Miami Hurricanes team or a one-loss Texas team? They're all going to say Miami, cultural impact. How about Georgia? Miami. They're going to pick Miami every single time. USC, they're going to go to Miami every single time. That is the cultural magnetism the Miami Hurricanes program has had in the past. Now we're getting performance on the field plus quality recruiting under Cristobal to back it up. Like I keep saying, there is just a surge of momentum behind this Hurricanes program. It's going to be exciting to watch what happens over the coming weeks and months.